Hello and welcome to Tell Me in Wrestling, a global podcast that uses ignorance and humour to fill the gaps between everyday life and professional wrestling. If you are new to the podcast, we are going to discuss a topic in conversation, and I am going to be told how it works in the world of wrestling. I'm your chronically ignorant, chronically ill host Phil, and I'm here with my tag team Trichophytic Closure. Please let me introduce Carl.
Hello. Just me today, unfortunately.
Just the two of us.
Yeah, no triple threat. Just a one-on-one exhibition match this week, I'm afraid. What tag team name? What does that mean exactly?
I can't remember.
Oh, handy. I'm guessing it's a reference.
It's got something to do with hair transplants, which is our subject this week.
Yeah.
I think it was how you sew up some the wound of obviously like grafting hair on.
So, right, that must have been an old school.
Yeah,
because I think now they just pluck them out and put them back somewhere else, don't they? You don't have to sew anything up.
Oh well, we'll discuss all this later.
Yeah,
we'll get onto that.
Speaking of hair transplants,
yeah,
Dan told us he can't join this week because he's away with work, but a little birdie told me that he's actually gone to Turkey for to get a new head of hair.
And he tried to throw us off by making a King of Spain joke that didn't work.
It didn't work. He sent a picture of some geezer, said it was someone. You were very confused for half an hour in our group chat, and I ignored the entirety of it because I just couldn't be asked. Yeah,
but we have it on good authority that he's taken our advice from last week on board, and he's instead of getting a massive derma roller and doing that on his head, he's gonna go. It's one way. I looked this up, and it was something like $1 per graft
follicle,
or something like that in Turkey. And
you can get it done for like $2 or $3 grand in Turkey, I think, can't you?
And then the only other option was to go to Canada. I don't know why. It's just those.
You get it done. You can dip down to. You can go anywhere and get it done. I think you get it done in the UK.
Yeah, it's just those two were the prices that came up for some reason.
Oh right.
I don't know whether
Canada versus
$7. So it was
per. I was gonna say that's cheaper, but per thing, yeah.
Maybe it's better quality hair up in Canada.
I think it's your own hair, so I don't think it matters.
That is true. You probably get your own rather than
someone else's. Yeah.
Oh,
if I was getting someone else's, I'd be worried. Like, you're not going to give me pubes, are you? You know what I mean?
I was just trying to imagine the sort of whose hairstyle would I want Dan to come back from Turkey with. Who's got?
It'd be great if he got a hair transplant, but he came back and it was just like Hulk Hogan's hair, so it was still bald on top, but it was just really like long around the sides and the back.
So he basically just had like a really well grown out.
Yeah, he just grew it out and it was blonde, and that was it. And he was like, "Yeah, I took the plunge and did it." And it's like, do you know what a hair transplant is?
I would like it if he got you probably don't know who these people are, but one of the Charlton brothers who used to play football for England. One of them had like a giant comb over, and like in the wind, it would see it like flopping behind him.
I do worry that that's what I've kind of.
That's what's going on with you.
Yeah, but by complete kind of. It just happens. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it is, but sometimes I do worry,
and it's just not going to be there.
Yeah, I do. I think it kind of slowly creeps, doesn't it? And then one day, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm bald. Like it's gone. Game's over. Yeah, I think
I'm starting to go a little bit just up at the front of my hairline.
Yeah, mine is kind of a little bit. Here it goes, and then it just feels. Do you know what mine is? It's not like the hairline going. It's just feels a bit thinner overall. Which I think to be fair, we're both mid-30s now. We've done quite well to hold on to them for this long.
Well, yeah, that's true. I am clinging onto mine for as long as possible. Every single man in my family is bald now.
My dad is, my brother isn't, but yeah. there's a lot of baldness in my family.
Yeah. But my hair is also incredibly thick, so I could probably get away with.
I have very fine hair, but you have very thick hair. Yeah.
You can't quite see it, but you know.
This is literally a podcast. Two people talking about who knew that Dan would be like the thing that kept us on track. Yeah. He's the only element. He's gonna come back and be like, yeah, you talk about hair for half an hour. You both just compliment each other's hair.
Well,
we can't do it when you're here, Dan, can we? It'd be rude.
Am I right in saying that he has made the choice to have a shaven head? He could grow his hair if he wanted, but
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he was when I met Dan, he obviously still had hair, and then he shaved it, and then he kind of, I think he tried to grow it back, or he did grow it back, should I say? But I think that was kind of the confirmation. I think I remember him saying that he was like, there's no point, and I think he also finds it easier to just kind of whip it off as opposed to keeping it kind of messing about with it. And he's got a glorious beard, so that helps as well, doesn't it?
It's all the testosterone that he's packing. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Big set of bollocks on him.
Yeah.
Full of manly jizz.
See, he can't give a shit like the last time we did one of these where we just piled in on him for a bit.
Yeah.
We've just told everyone he's got very manly jizz.
We've been so nice. He's going to feel a bit uncomfortable next time he comes back. Guess where I've been?
The seaside.
Disneyland, the happiest place on earth.
Oh god, yeah, because I completely forgot that I wanted to bring this up. The picture of you on a roller coaster.
I know, it's so fun, isn't it? You need to put that in the episode, like Oh my god!
What I'll do is I'll put that one in, and there's also another photo of you on another roller coaster that was taken with me.
Oh really?
When we were on holiday once, we used to go to a music festival in Holland because we're cool kids like that.
Yeah.
And the benefit of this particular one was that it was sort of in the back of a theme park. So if you paid like an extra little bit of money, you could go to the theme park the next day.
I completely forgot we went to that theme park.
And there was a time when I took advantage of Carl being massively hungover, and we just sort of went in a queue, and he had no idea what we were queuing for. And I knew he didn't like roller coasters, so I
hate them.
He absolutely hated them. And I don't know if you have ever seen a person's soul leave their body.
I don't remember the photo, but I vaguely remember going to the theme park.
I will have to trawl through Facebook, I think, old Facebook photos. So I'll see if it can come up. But yeah, we were coming down, and there's just me and probably the people either in front of us, behind us, going, yeah, having a lovely time. And then there's just this ghostly apparition in the scene next to me.
Yeah. So
your eyes have gone sort of like hollow.
I'll freely admit, right, I'm scared of heights, and because of that, I hate roller coasters because they always go up high. And the worst part about a roller coaster is the loops. Like, I just cannot stand them. Do you know what? I've now been duped, I feel, 3 times over the course of my life into getting on a roller coaster. So I'll tell you about this recent one in a second. You did that when it was 15 years ago, whenever it may have been.
So out of the 3 people, one of them, best friend.
Yeah.
Second one, I'm going to say, is this story going to be about your fiance doing it as well?
Well, I'd say it's half her fault, half of Mickey Mouse, to be honest with you, because just general Disneyland's fault.
Not literally Mickey Mouse.
No, not
he wasn't
Mouse,
there, sort of like.
Well, he runs the gaff, doesn't he?
Got your arm behind your back, forcing you on.
And the other one is my brother-in-law, actually, weirdly. I remember I was at Blackpool Pleasure Beach when I was a kid, and with my brother-in-law and family, and everyone knows I hate roller coasters, and I don't know what it's called, not the Pepsi Max, it's the other one there, but it's the shortest roller coaster in the world, pretty much. It goes from here to there with a loop in the middle, but just goes, and then it goes back again, and we were queuing for it, went up all these stairs, and the idiot that I am just didn't connect the dots. Like, oh, we're going probably to that roller coaster that's right above us, aren't we? And I was like, we're not going to that, though, are we? Like, no, of course not. No. And then next thing you know, I'm on the fucking roller coaster and I hate my life. Or I may have even cried and not gone on it. I can't remember. But anyway, this current time, recently, this weekend, so we got there and it's freezing cold, but it was brilliant. That the experience at Disneyland, honestly, it really is the happiest place on earth. I was very cynical about it beforehand, but it's great. But anyway, first got there and the first place we went to was the new kind of Avengers world of Avengers Campus, it's called, Disneyland Paris. And there's a Avengers ride. I don't know what it's called. Avengers fucking scare Carl shitless ride, I think it's called. And honestly, you queue up, as you know, for roller coasters for hours.
Yeah.
But there's no sign outside. It's like, oh, experience the thrill of being an Avenger. And I was like, well, I want to be a fucking Avenger, don't I? So yeah, I was like, yeah, we'll go on that. That's fine. So we queue up for ages. And as we're turning the corner to actually like literally get on the in the cart, there's like a thing on the wall that's kind of saying like, if you're pregnant, don't go on it, blah, 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 blah. And it says, this ride contains sudden jolts, extreme speed, and loops. And I was literally reading it as we're turning the corner, and I'm like pointing at it to my partner, going, and then I'm getting like stuck on the in the cart thing.
It's too late then.
Honestly, mate, it was the worst, one of the worst moments of my life. I was wearing a like a wool hat, like a winter hat. Yeah. And within 5 seconds of this roller coaster going, doo, and taking off, the hat had come off my head, and I just managed to catch it like this behind my head and hold on to it. And I spent the entire time on the ride with my eyes closed, like just holding on for dear life, and onto my hat as well. And I was just very unamused. And I got off it afterwards, and I was like shaking, and I was like, I hate you for making me do that. And she was like, I didn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't know. And I was like, I know you didn't know, but I need a minute. But then, in fairness, that gave me the confidence to go on other roller coasters that I wouldn't have usually done, because I was like, well, nothing can ever be worse than that. So
that's good.
Moral of the story, face your fears. But I will never, ever go on that again.
I love roller coasters, apart from one. There's only one roller coaster I went on. I was like, I'm never going on that again. And it wasn't like, it didn't go fast or anything like that. But it just sort of, it didn't really have much to the side of the little cart you go around in.
Right.
And it really whipped around and sort of did like 180s like at the end of the track. And I was just like, I don't feel safe in here.
Yeah.
Other roller coasters. I'm sure I heard a story of someone once, sorry to just quickly interrupt. The ones that do sort of go in a big loop. There's one at Flamingo Land, and there was someone who got in, and then a larger person got in next to them, and they couldn't pull the thing down on top. And the people on the ride said, oh, don't worry about it, because you'll be going so fast that what will happen is you'll just naturally stay in the roller coaster.
Oh my God. That's not worth the risk, is it?
If anyone said that, I'd be like, nope, getting out, I'm gone. I'm not being party to this. No.
Yeah, and that's like, all right, yeah, fine. What if it stops while it's upside down exactly? Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, I've never been a fan. I really hate them. And that's what it felt. It was so fast and so jolty that it felt unsafe. And my God, I will never, ever, ever, ever do that ride again. But it was a great weekend apart from that.
Yeah.
But put the picture up because it's an hilarious picture. And as soon as we got out, we were absolutely howling about it. And there was other roller coasters like through the week. There was only like one that I managed to keep my eyes open for, because the others I was like, holding on for dear life.
Well, you went on them and then you went on another one afterwards.
Yeah, so I did one of them twice. Tower of Terror, where it drops you up and down like a lift. I did that twice. So
it's apparently the anticipation that's the scariest part of the roller coaster. The fact that you know that something like potentially scary is going to happen. Even though you're perfectly safe, you're strapped in. And
I think it's more the being suspended in midair and feeling like I'm going to drop to my death is my my main issue with it. But anyway,
I wanted to be a roller coaster designer when I was a little kid.
Really?
I thought that would be a cool job. Yeah.
Well, look at you now. Oh. That would be a cool job. You could do a bit of that on Rollercoaster Tycoon.
Yeah, but the thing about playing those games is it's much more fun to just create parks where everyone just dies horrible deaths on stuff.
Yeah, but that's kind of the issue with being like a roller coaster designer or like a maybe a bit more upmarket, but like a aerospace engineer. It's like you're responsible for people's lives essentially. Yeah. So if you fuck up your job, you kill people. Like a doctor. Maybe I should have gone with doctor as opposed to aerospace engineer. You know what I mean.
There is a genuine roller coaster of death, I think, where the loops. It's designed for people who want to have like assisted suicide.
No,
and you sort of it's true. I don't know. I think
it's like Sweden or somewhere.
I think this might be theorized rather than an actual.
Oh, okay.
But you kind of just get going smaller and smaller loops, and it just goes faster and faster and faster.
It's like the G-force.
It just completely overwhelms you.
Jesus. Well.
And Dan might need that depending on how bad his transplant goes.
Yeah, all the Hollywood Dan Hogan coming back.
Can we buy him like a little wig for when he comes back that we force him to wear?
That'd be great. Yeah, we'll send one straight to his house.
We'll get his wife involved and get her on our side, and then
we'll shave both of our heads, and he'll just look like an idiot with dumb hair.
I am not shy. It's taken me so long to cultivate.
Yeah, I'm not going to grow my hair. We'll wear ball caps.
Yeah, we'll do that instead.
Do you want a little poem?
I do want a little poem, yeah. You can get roller coaster chat.
Yeah. You can give us a little bit of give me your thoughts on it afterwards. Okay. It's got a theme, you'll see. Go on.
Is this another one by AI something or other?
It's a collaboration.
It's a collab. Okay.
CarlGPT is our hip hop duo name.
Okay, off you go.
Yeah. Bald wrestlers, brave and bold, in the ring, their stories are told. From Stone Cold Steve Austin to Goldberg's head, their power and might, their hair completely shed. Their hands may be smooth, their heads may be smooth, with no hair in sight, but they rule the ring with sheer might. Ryback, Batista, and Kurt Angle too, their names will forever ring true. Their boldness is a symbol of strength, you see, for they are the heroes of WWE. Their heads are shiny without a strand, but it adds to their charisma and their charm. Their power and courage are a blessing. It's time for Tell Me in Wrestling.
That's pretty good.
Not bad, right?
Not bad at all.
If I was going to judge
lots of
the old AI,
lots of bold wrestlers in there.
Yeah, it's like bold. It's like, oh, they're so brave, and it's a bit like wanky. I find when I kind of want to do a bit more humorous take, but it takes a while to even get to this point. This is like said, write me a poem about bold wrestlers. There's not one mention of a wrestler in there. I was like, do it again, but add in wrestlers' names. And then half the ones that added in had fucking hair, so I had to redo it myself. And then a few of the rhymes weren't quite right. And but yeah, I thought it was all right. That it's not bad going.
I can imagine like the robotic uprising will be quashed by you. Just be like, no, not having any of this.
Do it again, but do it like this.
Properly,
all right. Yeah, well, yeah,
or are you going to be the leader? Is that what's going to happen?
I could just
because you're gonna be like, no, you've not done that properly.
Yeah, could be like, yeah,
do it better. Learn. It's what you were designed for.
Macking call myself that.
Macking
Macking like machine.
Okay, yeah,
that could be my name.
A bit slow there.
Sorry, it was a shit joke. It wasn't even a joke. It was just a weird, funny name. Yeah. What's next?
That is a good question. What is next?
Out of sorts with Dan not here.
Yeah, because we will just talk.
We'll just go on about all shite. Yes.
We've got a John Wiki for you.
Oh yeah, give us a John Wiki.
You want a John Wiki?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I start off on John Cena's Wikipedia page, and then I fall down a wrestling rabbit hole, and then I test, this one nerd this week to see how much he knows about sports entertainment that he loves so much.
If I get this right, could I still have the point to go against Dan?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it is.
He shouldn't miss a week.
He shouldn't. He should be on schedule all of the time and not do anything for
Premier League game. Misses a match.
Yeah.
Points go to the other team, right?
True. If they forfeit, yeah. That's what happens. Yeah.
There we go.
Right. You ready?
I am indeed.
Okay. I am an emphasis. Oh fuck! I'll start that again. That's quite hard to say. I am an emphasis on an already existing type of match.
Tables, ladders, and chairs.
Got it in one.
Really?
Got it in one.
Boom! No chance Dan would have got that. No chance. No chance.
You didn't have to write it down this week, so we can just go throw that in the bin.
Not bad at all.
Bad at all.
It's got me raring to go now.
Oh.
Very nice. Very nice.
So how many more did I have to go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Tell me, I'm intrigued by the rest. Tell me the rest.
I originated around 3 tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to name the tag teams involved?
Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian.
Yep. Debuted at which event?
WrestleMania.
SummerSlam.
Oh, SummerSlam 99?
Almost 2000.
2000.
I didn't realise, but we'd actually
there was like 3 of these with the same team, so that's why I thought WrestleMania. But go on.
When we talked about the Shield and Kurt Angle, when Kurt Angle just looked
proud
happy
dad
to be there,
yeah.
That was a 5-on-3 handicapped version.
Yep.
What else did I write down? I also wrote down it rhymes with fables, badders, and bears. just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
That's quite good. That's not a bad way of doing it. Just to make sure we do get it.
Yeah, that's going to have to be the last clue.
Yeah.
And just on the off chance that we do one, and I have to get ducked a point again. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I want you guys to get it, even though I have to spoon feed it into your little mouths.
Okay, then let's have a game of is this a wrestling gimmick or just some shit I made up?
Okay.
Ready?
I am ready. I am taking this too seriously.
Yeah. I think you're going to get all of these. Just play the music. First one. Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Have you thrown something in there to catch me off guard? I think that's made up.
That is real. Hulk Hogan's best mate.
After my clean sweep last
yeah.
week, off to a bad start.
Terrible start. Second, Susie Scissors.
Susie Scissors is made up.
It is made up. I made that up. Next one.
Yeah.
Rico the Stylist.
See, I'm trying to trying to remember if I've ever come across any of these names and doing any of my little bits of research. Rico the Stylist is not one of them. It's made up.
It's real.
Oh.
1 for 3 so far.
3, yeah.
The last one.
Yeah.
Edward Snipperfingers.
Edward Snipperfingers is real.
It's fake.
Oh.
You got one right.
Well,
Susie Scissors is the only one you got right there.
I
thought they were all pretty good.
Yeah.
Edward Snipperfingers. Obviously, it's like Edward Scissorhands, but it sounds like something that WF would have done in like the 90s to kind of get around the copyright.
That's what I assumed there. Susie Scissors could be one of those people who, you know, when they're like the name's a sentence.
Yeah.
Susie Scissors. And you can take that in whatever context you filthy minds want to, right?
I was also going to come up with a instead of that one, I originally had the Scissor Sisters, because obviously it's a band, but also it sounds like a girls' tag team. And then I thought you would know because it's the band, so I didn't do it. But Susie Scissors instead.
But you could have been pulling wool over my eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Pulling the forelock of my hair down so I can't see.
So yeah, there we go.
And it was a successful one for you. You absolutely outdid me in that one.
Not quite a clean sweep, but yeah, very good indeed.
Well, it looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event.
So our main event this week, we are looking at hair transplants. After our little chat last week, Carl thinking that he's losing his hair, and the week before we were talking about the blue meanie drawing on his mustache and facial hair and stuff like that. We thought, let's go down that avenue, explore that for a little bit. So, if you're not sure what a hair transplant is, it is a surgical technique that removes hair follicles from a donor site on the body to a bald part known as the recipient site, and is usually treated to treat male pattern baldness.
What? A donor site? Isn't it like just the back of your head usually that they get it from?
They will try and take it from the back of your head and then move it to the top, rather than taking it from a different part of your body.
Like your ass, if you've got a hairy ass or something like that. Yeah,
or under your arms. Oh, that would probably be a bit sore to take off.
Yeah. Where do you think? What hair would be the worst place to take it from, but also the worst type of hair to have on top once it had grown through?
I would say your scrotum.
Oh, that's good. I was going to say the gooch.
Would it? Because if you had like all of a sudden, I'm just imagining sort of like Deadpool.
With
like a scrotal cap on.
But imagine like if you had enough like proper normal, but like proper thick normal hair, but it's just all scrotum hair.
It's all your pubes.
It'd just be dead wispy, wouldn't it?
You get do you know what is weird? That you know how you have like hair lice.
Yeah.
You would you would assume that they're all just the same thing, but like the stuff that like lives in your eyebrows and the stuff that say lives in our beards, completely different species, not related at all.
Really?
Yeah. So if you then suddenly had like hair lice up here,
what if you
from a different part of your head, I wonder,
could you make a new type of lice?
Yeah, you could make super lice.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, imagine if Dan had gone to go and get a hair transplant and then super lice ate his hair off.
Yeah, and then you had to shave it all. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to go back to being bald.
Got bald anyway. Christ. Yeah, I'd get it done, I reckon.
Would you?
Yeah.
I would like to say that I wouldn't, but we were having a look at some celebrities before we started recording, of who've had hair transplants, and they look significantly better.
I mean,
it's had it done.
It makes you look so much younger.
I was going to say, do you think it's associated with masculinity to have either be bald and be proud of being bald, or wanting like a thick mane?
No, I just think it's all to do with a sense of identity and a sense of who you are. Because if you've grown, like I'm 34 years old, and I've had hair all my life since when I was a baby, but it's who I am. My hair is like part of me. It's who I am, and to see it like getting slightly thinner and stuff like that is a bit depressing.
Yeah,
because it's like part of yourself dying, which it literally is.
It is, yeah.
So it's not that. I don't think it's anything to do with like toxic masculinity or anything like that. It's like if a girl was to, lose her hair for alopecia or whatever reason, it's still your identity. It's still part of you that is then no longer there, which you feel kind of weird about, I think.
Yeah.
That's my feeling on it. And that's why I think it's kind of shouldn't be shamed for people trying to get a little bit of that back. I mean, I know it's much more kind of
it's more accepted now, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think something like that is a lot different to like other kind of quote unquote plastic surgery, like getting your teeth done or there's a certain amount of vainness in something like that. But hair transplant, I feel like you're just trying to kind of you're trying to get a sense of identity back, I think, is my kind of feeling on that.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. No one's like, oh yeah, my thing is how bright my teeth are.
Yeah, exactly. And no one's like, oh, I used to have my teeth. People used to. I used to bring airplanes in with how bright they are. Like no one's like that, are they? Do you know what I mean? But it's yeah. I just think it's. And then I realize I've just got surprisingly deep on this. I think it's maybe because I have noticed I'm thinning a little bit recently, and that's why I probably understand it a little bit more now.
Genuinely,
I got a little tear about it. Yeah. I don't really. Yeah, but I think it's because you didn't trigger me. That's the wrong term, but because I think it is that a lot of people do see it as that kind of toxic masculinity kind of side of thing, and I just don't think it is that. Now, I think all that being said, I think people who go and get it on like finance, like it's a fucking taking a mortgage out on your head is a terrible idea. Like if you can't do it, you can't do it. But if you can afford it within your means, then do it. Yeah.
If all your hair fell out and you couldn't afford it, just wear a hat.
Yeah. Exactly. My issue is with all of this, or a toupee, you can get really good toupees, but they're very expensive as well.
Would you accept a wig made out of my hair?
No.
You wouldn't?
No, because I wouldn't. I think I would accept a wig made out of anyone else's hair on this planet, but you would lord it over me. You'd be like, how's my hair doing?
Yeah.
My hair all right. Yeah.
I was about to disagree with you.
Are you looking after the hair that I donated? Like you'd be, so no. And equally, you wouldn't do the same for me.
Particularly if I still had my hair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If I was like, oh, you can just take whatever you want, it doesn't matter.
Just want to make sure you're keeping the hair in order while I'm after I gave it to you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no chance.
Tending to the hair that I gave you.
Yeah. I think you'd be like, I usually wouldn't wear it like that. It's like, yeah, but it's me. It's not you.
Just being really sort of passive aggressive with my criticisms.
Yeah. Start referring to it as our hair. Like that's mine. Yeah, but what you say you'd get it done as well? Do you think?
I don't know. I possibly. I can't really know. I'd like to think that I'm just going to grow old gracefully, but
I don't think either of us would suit bald hair. Dan suits having a bald head. We look like smackheads, I think, and that's my kind of issue. I think I'd look like a proper smackhead if I had a shaved head.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, skinny, kind of. I look like one at the best of times, so stick a shaved head in there. I probably wouldn't care enough to keep it like evenly shaved either, so it'd be all patchy. Like, you know what I mean? I just look like a full on, yeah. So yeah, that's why I just can't let it happen. Anyway, I think you were talking about some hair transplant stuff. You were talking about some research you did.
Oh shit, yeah. It's slightly different from a skin graft because they try and take the layer of skin surrounding the follicle when they take it off you, rather than a skin graft where I don't really know what they do. I think they take the whole piece to be honest, off, I didn't want to suddenly start looking at like graphic descriptions.
You never know when a picture's going to come out.
Yeah,
I think a skin graft is you take like the full. You basically, it's like you're kind of shaving ham, and you take a slice of ham off your skin and you place it somewhere else where it's needed to go. Whereas I think a hair transplant is kind of, you just kind of pluck it out and put it in somewhere else. I've just got
this image of a load of people standing in a queue, like in a British supermarket where you take your little ticket.
With one of those machines.
And it's just like, how much do you want? With those machines, just slice the bits of skin off.
It's a bit with like, sometimes you get like, you see like pork or a pig's head or something. It's just got those faint hairs on it. It's just got one of them just on the side.
Do you know what? Our country's probably not far off that.
That's true. That is true.
Damning indictment of the UK at the beginning of 2023. If you happen to be listening to this in the future and everything's gone to shit. Well, what you're doing listening to this for a start, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is like joy.
Listen to like a survival podcast.
This is where you're getting your joy from. Yeah. This is not good.
They first started happening in like the 19th century, but they didn't get modernized until the 1950s. Apparently the Japanese did them in like the 1930s, but it was more for eyebrows and eyelashes, and they didn't focus on baldness. And then World War II came along, and they were like, "Oh, we've got more pressing issues."
Yeah, well, they
they
caused them.
Yeah,
yeah. Eyebrows and eyelashes.
Yeah,
interesting.
Which I thought when I first read that, I thought it was going to be because of like the nuclear fallout and stuff, but it was way before that. Anyway, the technique was modernized in the 1950s by a man called Norman Orentriech. I believe I've pronounced that correctly. And he created, because he's a famous dermatologist apparently. He created Clinique skin products.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
they're very famous.
They are very, very famous. He did his first transplant, the first successful one, I should say, in 1952.
And this is using the because there's I believe
there's two different types of
yeah.
Two different techniques. You've got follicular unit extraction, where they take tiny grafts of between 1 and 4 hairs, because apparently all hairs grow in like clumps of 2 to 4 or something like that. So they take tiny little ones and they put them on your head like that, rather than follicular. I really want to say vehicular, and I know that they are two completely different things.
Vehicular manslaughter.
Follicular unit transplant, which is basically you take off a big chunk of skin and then you cut it up into smaller bits and then sort of do it that way.
So that's the older way, right?
That's the older way, yeah.
Hair plugs, I think, was the
we're moving towards the unit extraction.
Yeah, because that old way of doing it, like Joe Rogan talked about on his podcast, and he has enough listeners, so stick to ours. But he has like an upside down smiley face on the back of his head, like a big scar from where he had that done when he was younger, because he had the old version. And apparently like that, and apparently it used to fail quite a lot as well. People's heads would just reject it.
Yeah.
Whereas the new way seems to be quite successful in comparison.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've always found weird and a little bit ironic about getting a hair transplant?
Go on.
You have to shave your head to get it done.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like,
if you've not
like my whole thing with my mate was on talking about getting it done, and I was like, yeah, but what if you shave your head and it looks fucking mint, and then you're like, oh, I've just spent all this money to get this hair transplant, I don't need it, I look fucking great. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. By 1966, so 14 years after the first one, approximately 10,000 men had been seen by this guy and had a successful hair transplant. So it's been going for 70 years.
70 years, yeah.
Oh god, it's depressing when we look at a date in history and it's so much further back than.
Yeah, I was thinking 50 years, and then
tops.
70.
No.
Yeah. What is also crazy about, like, that's obviously around. That's when they started doing this.
Yeah.
What's crazy is it's not really developed that much to kind of move it along. It's better than much better than it used to be. But also, like, do you think there's like, do you know, they have big pharma? Do you think there's like big hair transplant that are trying to stop the research into trying to stop or reverse male pattern baldness because they're making absolute bank on doing the surgeries? Because there's been no inroads, has there? You hear like every year you hear like, oh, there might be a pill for male pattern baldness, and then I feel like it's like someone gets pushed out of a hotel window and then you never hear about it again. It's like no research ever comes.
Well, there might be some advancements in it because within the hair follicle is a stem cell. So they're looking at maybe being able to just clone hair.
Interesting. And then copy and paste job.
Yeah, just copy and paste. Just go put it
like the clone stamp tool in Photoshop. Huh.
Yeah, because one of the things that they.
All right, I'll wait for that one before
one of the things that I discovered doing the research is they put a lot of time and effort into making sure, obviously, that it looks real, rather than just a fucking slapdash.
Yeah.
There you go, and your hair's growing out at all.
Like in terms
angles.
of it's in a natural kind of on your head. Yeah. You also sometimes see dodgy ones where like they like draw it on and it's like halfway down across their forehead. It's like they never had hair. They look like the Wolfman now. Like,
what can you do? Like, if you do get a really, really bad one, like, you're stuck with it. That hair's going to keep growing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Unless do you think you can, like, scrub it out? or there must be something you can do. Imagine then you go get like laser hair removal like, on your forehead
for the hair that you've just paid.
Yeah, just paid to be
several
inserted.
£1,000s.
Yeah, it's like the most expensive trim in the world.
What's the wrestling equivalent of a hair transplant?
So I was having to think about this, and the other day I think we were chatting, weren't we? To me, it's got to be anabolic steroids or performance enhancing drugs, because that is kind of my little deep dive into this at the start, where I was talking about how, you know, it's not necessarily about toxic masculinity and all that stuff. I was actually thinking after I said that maybe steroids don't apply. But I actually think that it is steroids, because wrestlers are, and especially back in the kind of 90s, wrestlers are beholden, or they have to look a certain way, and that's what a quote-unquote wrestler looks like, and less so nowadays. And that caused people to take a insane amount of steroids. Like, look at people like the Ultimate Warrior, Hogan, like these, because it was seen as like the bigger you are, the more Vince will like you, and therefore the more money you make. And like,
well, hasn't he said famously, what's his quote? It's like I like big buff boys or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But him himself, like,
yeah,
in fairness to him, Vince McMahon always says, I'll never ask anyone to do
something that I won't.
Something that he won't do himself, and he is roided to the fucking... He's like 80 odd years old. He looks like a fucking 30-year-old bodybuilder, do you know what I mean? But I mean, he like went on trial for supplying steroids to them to the wrestlers in the early 90s. So like, it's been an open secret for years.
Just on trial, obviously didn't.
Right, he got acquitted. He turned up he did the classic, turned up in like a fucking neck brace, didn't he, to the trial, and you managed to get away with it, I think. Or there was something weird about it, like they ended up kind of not blaming him, and he kind of pushed the blame to like a doctor that was on staff or something like that. I think I want to say the doctor's name is like,
well, that's the guy's name, but he would be still complicit.
He was still complicit, but he just completely took the fall for it, I think. And he probably just got a fine, and that was it. Because I think the charges against Vince as part of WWF at the time were much bigger. But anyway, I could be I should have probably researched it, but fuck it, doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is that he has obviously had this thing about it for years. I mean, he even started a fucking world bodybuilding federation that lasted about 10 minutes. So he's clearly had a little big boy fetish for a while. And obviously, to become a big boy, you have to take big steroids, don't you? So that's what they're all doing. Roided to the gills. And, you know, you still get a bit of it now, but much less so, because I think people have proved that, you know, actually being able to move around and like rotate your head left and right and pick your arms up is quite a big part of being a wrestler. So,
and not having
matches have improved since
psychotic breakdowns due to
abuse
that happens.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look back 20 years, 10 years, excuse me, at the amount of wrestler deaths from like, oh, well, his heart just exploded. Like, you know, like, what else do you expect to happen? He's a wrestler, his heart explodes. What do you expect to happen? Like, that is way, 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 way less prevalent now. So I think it's a good thing. But yeah, I think it's probably that, right? Because it's a little bit of vanity. It's a little bit of like, well, I'm a wrestler, so I need to do this. And that's kind of related to that kind of self-identification and that kind of sense of, I've lost a part of who I am.
Once you've discovered someone else is doing it, and they're getting away with it,
and earning way more money and going up the card, you'd be like, I'm going to get on that as well. Yeah, I mean, if you look at people like Edge, and Triple H and people like that, like look at them in their early stages of their career compared to when they were at their peak.
Yeah,
it's just impossible to do it naturally, right? Impossible. Like, look at the fucking Rock now. Like, there's a whole thing at the moment about the Rock kind of being on steroids, and it's like, yeah, everyone knows that. Like, surely that's obvious. Nobody thinks that he's doing that naturally.
I've got a little sickness story surrounding steroids.
Go
on. I've got a little jingle for me talking about being sick that I might bang in now if you want to have a little.
Oh yeah, let's have a listen.
You ready?
Yep.
It's all about me. I feel fucking awful. There you go.
Is that the last bit there? Is that from a voice note?
No, I just had to change
you just messed
how
around
it sounded
with it.
at the end.
Interesting.
So
it's good. I love it.
So you couldn't hear. So it didn't just sound like me doing the whole thing. Yeah. So I had a chest infection once, and they gave me steroids to try and get rid of it. And one thing that I noticed was
is this the same type of steroids? Aren't there different types?
So. No, I don't think so. I think they're the same. But you can give them for medical reasons to help. I'm not really sure why I got them, to be honest. They just went, you have these, and I went, okay.
Oh. Did you have to inject them up your ass like bodybuilders do?
No, I didn't have to do that.
I like it to think about that. A lot of stuff did go up my ass, but I can't quite remember if it was a syringe or not.
I can't really remember how I took them. All I remember was I felt like I wanted to eat a full meal every hour.
Oh, really?
I was absolutely famished. And I was just... I remember going out one day with someone, and we ate before we left, and then as soon as we got to the place, which was about half an hour later, I was like, I need to eat again. I feel really, really hungry.
Huh.
I was just throwing food down. It was a really bizarre change.
I'll be honest, I don't actually know what they do. Like, I know, like, you can get like human growth hormone treatment, which is like, replenishing so that you can build up. I don't know what steroids themselves do. Whether it's like that, give you more appetite, so then you've got more calories to burn, so then you more energy to work. I have no idea what they actually do.
We probably could have done with looking this up.
Could have done
I told the story, and we used
Dan's pretty good at doing the research, isn't he?
He'll be sitting there, half his head will have been
typing away as he's listening. Oh, I know what fucking steroids do. Yeah.
With just a really sore head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just a little,
looking at it with those little hand mirrors
trickling down into his eyes.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
I think I'd finished.
Oh, that was it. You were just hungry. You just basically told the story because you were like, I was
hungry.
All right. I thought there was some big illness that happened, not just I got a bit peckish.
No, but it was. I think they were trying to use it. I think rather than using antibiotics, because obviously they've tried to make sure that COVID wasn't going to be a thing by not always giving people antibiotics for simple things. So they're like, yeah, have some steroids. And I was running around like the fucking Hulk. If the Hulk just ate food.
Yeah. Which I mean you must do. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's what steroids do. They make you very hungry.
That's what steroids do. You
want to eat into a hungry little boy, so you turn into a big boy.
I would be the fattest wrestler imaginable if I was if I was doing steroids.
Yeah, just eat. You'd be like, these steroids are great. I just eat everything. And then, like,
I would just.
You are meant to then use the energy from the food to work out. Like, no, I'm not going to do that.
I'd be so fat that I would have my own gravitational pull.
Yeah,
people would just slowly be moving towards
like
me.
Yokozuna.
That's how I'd win. Yeah,
Yokozuna wanted to be like, he was massive already, and he just kept eating. And he was like, I want to be the biggest wrestler ever. I want to be the biggest wrestler ever was, like, fat. And he just ate and ate and ate, and they were like, "You're unhealthy. Like, you need to lose weight." Like, nah, fuck this. I'm leaving then. And left, and he was like, "I'm just gonna keep eating, and then someone will hire me, and I'll just become this big wrestler." And then he died.
At least he died doing what he loved.
Yeah, getting really fat as fuck. Yeah.
I want to be such a fat wrestler that the only way I can get into the ring is on the forklift that guy's mum
Judy
was
Bagwell.
Sat on.
Yeah.
That Judy Bagwell was on.
And your ass is so big that they can't actually pin you because your shoulders don't go on the mat flat. You just get so much like back fat around there.
I'm like one of those like weeble wobble things that can never actually be knocked over.
Like one of the characters from Wall-E that are just in those chairs and they have no like bone mass. They're just because it's just fatness. Just like it's like just punching jelly.
You can actually just see like ripple waves going across me.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh, that would be brilliant. That's how I want to make a name for yourself. Wrestling. Yeah.
Speaking of, not quite the same, but Mr Blobby turned up at a independent show the other day. Did you see the clip of that though, son? Yeah.
I did. That looked amazing.
It did look good. He did like a fucking a splash from the apron on. They did a over the ropes like splash onto them. Like, fair play, Blobby.
So do you reckon that is somebody who's played Mr Blobby turning up to a wrestling event, or have they got a wrestler who is dressed up like Mr Blobby? If you don't know who Mr Blobby is, we're not going to do him justice. So just Google Mr.
If you don't know who Mr Blobby is, we don't want you listening to this fucking podcast. You can leave right now.
This is where we're drawing the line.
Unsubscribe it, for God's sake. I think it's the original guy who's in there years ago. It's got to be.
How old's he going to be though?
Oh, he must be. Well, he looked pretty bloody nimble. How old? What's his face?
Who? Noel Edmonds.
Yeah.
He's got to be in his 60s or 70s now, surely.
Probably 70s, isn't he? So the geezer is with him. Probably like what? Maybe he's like young apprentice. So let's say he's like 50. So he'd be 50.
Do you think they're like a couple? They go around together. Noel Edmonds and Mr Blobby. Like they always go around together.
Yeah, it's like Ant and Dec, isn't it?
Yeah, cool. Oh, it'd be much.
Mr Blobby was the banker on a Deal or No Deal.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
That would be brilliant if every single phone call was just Noel Edmonds trying to ad-libbing a load of shit from someone just going blobby, 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 blobby on the phone to him.
I reckon so. Yeah, I reckon that's who the banker was. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a good 10 out of the books.
So anyway, if you want to see a 5-star wrestling appearance, go and have a look at that, Mr Blobby, who I can definitively say neither takes steroids or has a hair transplant.
No, he doesn't. He looks very smooth, Mr Blobby.
He is, yeah. It's like a baby, isn't he?
Yeah.
What do you think if you were to cook him, what do you think it tastes like?
Mr Blobby?
Yeah.
Because he's very pink. So you're either going down the sort of your pork, your ham, or is he more sort of like a drumstick lolly or something like that? Would he turn into sort of like hot like syrup?
I reckon.
And Mr Blobby Shoe. This horrible pink and yellow.
Imagine. Look like spam.
It would be horrible. Maybe he tastes like spam. Maybe that's
maybe. I was gonna say like spam or like hot dogs, but like really cheap, horrible hot dogs, or like he's actually just like layers of different cake, like rainbow cake underneath there, maybe.
I was thinking more like the ham that had a face on it that you could buy.
Yeah.
Like a
Billy the Bear ham.
Billy.
Yeah, like that, like really cheap processed meat. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's Mr Blobby.
Do you think there's a market for like have some of Mr Blobby's skin in your sandwich? Do you think if you were to start selling that, do you think it would get anywhere?
Which market are we trying to
like Billy the Bear ham, but it's Mr Blobby's skin?
Are we doing it for like nostalgia purposes? So could we do it in sort of
it's like retro, isn't it?
See, now if we'd had the guy on the podcast who used to live in East London, we could have asked him. There's probably a Mr Blobby themed food restaurant in Shoreditch.
Well, I think there's a lot of retro seems to be quite big again recently, doesn't it? Like the 90s are back. So I imagine if you were to just a few packets of Mr Blobby skin, chuck them out, have that in your little sandwich and your little packed lunch, kids, or your little millennial. They'd be all over it.
Do you think Jamie Oliver would be happy with the children of Britain eating Mr Blobby's skin? Is this the apocalypse that we're going into? We're going to be feeding people who used to be on the TV when we were kids to our kids, so they don't starve, so they don't go hungry.
We'll chuck a bit of avocado in.
Who else is next? Dave Benson Phillips.
Let's not talk about what he might taste like.
No. What about Pat Sharp?
Pat Sharp, is he Art Attack?
Is he no, he did Funhouse. Is he going to be quite bitter because of his name?
I think he would just taste like cocaine. Yeah,
maybe.
And I think Neil Buchanan from Art Attack he'd just be like, do you know, like when you when you're a kid, you like eat like that really horrible paint, or when you like have a bit, you're like,
what? Hold on a second. When you're a kid and you have that really horrible paint,
well, you like
what you said?
When you're a kid, you taste things, don't you? You're like, oh, what does that taste like?
Oh, right.
I'll be honest, right? Up until
right, we're not suddenly disclosing that you were force-fed paint as a child.
No. Although it would explain a lot. Do you know though? Until a relatively old age, I used to always have a go on like shampoo or shower gel. So I was like, it can't smell this good consistently. There's got to be one that also tastes good. So I used to be on a little bit of a mission when I was younger around, I'm going to find one that ticks both boxes eventually. I never did.
You're not allowed in Lush anymore, are you?
No, exactly. Yeah, they barred me.
He comes out and he's just foaming everywhere. He looks like he's been.
Because what I also didn't mention was I used to think it must taste good, it must smell good, and it must be a good sex toy. So they won't let me in Lush anymore.
No, shoving those bath bombs where they don't belong.
Yeah, exactly. Mr Blobby bath bomb.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. That would sell.
We can put them up on our merch store that we don't have. It'll be authentic Mr Blobby as well. We can guarantee that.
Yeah, we would just be selling his bollocks basically. Have a Mr Blobby bath bomb bollock.
There we go.
Dear.
And then everyone can let us know what it tastes like in their sandwiches.
Yeah, do a bit both. Yeah.
We're going to make the world's first edible bath bomb made out of
Mr. Blobby's skin.
A 90s TV star.
Sidekick, not even a star. This podcast really goes off the rails when Dan's not here, doesn't it?
Shall I give you a little bit more about Norman Orentriech?
Oh, you're not finished. All right, yeah, go on.
No.
Why not?
So, the Orentriech Foundation for the Advancement of Science, which is the foundation that he set up, studied hair belonging to George Washington, and they found out that he was blood type B.
Wow.
It's quite impressive. I don't know what they can do with that information rather than go, oh.
Yeah, they can't really help him now, can they?
But then again, I'm the sort of person who's then taken that fact
and he said it on a podcast
and said it.
And there's people listening to this going, oh,
right.
Right.
I thought we were finished. No, we've got another couple of minutes in which Phil's going to bore us shitless.
Listen, Phil did this research. He will read it out.
Yeah.
Go on, any other tidbits?
No, I couldn't really find anything that funny about hair transplants, if I'm honest. Other than pictures, and I didn't really want to have to start going through pictures of bad hair transplants because that might freak me and other listeners and other people out.
My closing argument is hair transplants are steroids.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't judge either of them because they are only done because people either want to kind of get ahead or they want to get a sense of themselves back.
Yeah. I suppose the thing with using steroids in wrestling, I guess there's no technical cheating like there would be in a sport, say, cycling, where obviously like Lance Armstrong has kind of ruined the reputation of the sport by being a filthy drugs cheat. To the point where, because they've taken all his titles off him, the person who has won the Tour de France the most in history now is no one.
Yeah, because they all got done, right?
I mean,
like all the people after him, like they'd all been done as well. So it was like, oh,
yeah, it's pretty rife. It's pretty rife in that sport.
What would you do if you turned up to a hair transplant clinic to get it done, and you walked into the room to meet them for the first time, and it was just Mr. Blobby sat there in a white coat and a felt tip pen, ready to draw on you?
I'd probably want to do it because I just want to see what would happen. Like, what's gonna turn out? Is he just gonna draw dots all over me? Is that gonna be the thing?
Might be. Yeah, might be very dotty hair.
I don't know. I might have to leave quite a bad Yelp review if he's.
I think
if he's like,
I would go through with it.
Or something.
I reckon I'd go through with it, but only if he had a fantastic head of hair on him when you walk in. Imagine you walked in and he's just got like luscious kind of locks on Mr. Blobby. I'd be like, yeah, go on then, mate. Yeah. If they did that to you, I'm game.
Oh, I think I'd be freaked out if Mr. Blobby had hair. Like looking like fucking like Matthew McConaughey, sort of like golden locks.
Yeah. I was thinking like slick jet black hair, like I don't know, like Christian Bale in American Psycho or something like that. He just looks smooth as fuck. I'd be like, all right, mate, yeah. Give me the pen.
Has he got like teeth whitened and everything as well?
No, just the hair.
Has he gone just the hair?
Just the hair. He just wants a sense of himself back.
I don't know. Tell you what, if you're watching this or listening to this, why don't you either tweet
How did you get this fucking far for one thing,
or leave a comment and say if you would let Mr. Blobby give you a hair transplant if he had a really nice head of hair himself.
Yeah.
Is he wearing
the
white coat?
Almost like he's wearing a white coat. Yeah, and he's got a little pen. And he's got
he's got
a red pen, a black pen, and then the like little felt tip pen that they draw on you with.
What's the institution that he's working for? Is he like down on Harley Street in London?
Yeah, he's like somewhere up market. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe.
Noel's Follicle House.
Yeah, I've been trying to think about
that. Trying to get one in. Yeah. That's the best I could do.
I was thinking, Mr. Blobby's Barnets.
That's not bad. Yeah, but then that gives the game away, doesn't it?
What? So
you're going to be shocked when you walk in.
Wait, so you're just going in and getting cosmetic surgery for Mr. Blobby and you don't know what it is that you're getting?
Yeah, no, you don't know it's him. Like, you have a consultation over the phone and you thought it was a bit difficult to understand him, and then you turn up and it's him.
Is this going to be punishment for me, Georgia, for having got you on a roller coaster? You're going to take us in for cosmetic surgery done by Mr. Blobby and you're not going to
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Do you think...
Imagine if this was your origin story.
This is... Oh, God. I would have...
got on a roller coaster and you didn't want to.
Well, it would have happened a long time ago, wouldn't it? I'd have become truly evil a long time ago. Yeah, so... All right, no to Blobby then. Hashtag no to Blobby. But yeah, write in if you feel like you would get a hair transplant from him.
Yeah.
Also, okay, let's stop this in a minute. But what do you think Mr. Blobby would look like if he took loads of steroids?
He wouldn't be. He wouldn't.
Do you know what's weird? I can see it.
Blobby. Yeah,
I can see it so plainly. Like,
but is he Mr. Blobby? Is he Blobby because his body shape's a bit like a blob?
It's just his name, isn't it?
So would he then have to call like Mr. Ripped or Mr.
Buffy?
Roidy?
Mr. Roidy, maybe, yeah.
Mr. Roidy.
Yeah.
So Mr. Roidy going around to your local school.
Yeah, he's like doing all like the poses, like the old he's doing like the Hulk Hogan like arms kind of thing. Oh dear.
Oh, that would scare the shit out of a lot.
Well, listen, I mean, he's just had a wrestling match the other week. Maybe he's going to get into it, so maybe we might see that in the future. You never know. Right. Anyway, that's it from your favourite wrestling podcast.
Without a lad from Hull, and this week we are all tapped out.